I'll ask anybody's question but yours. You're an idiot. And really a disloyal person.
Hello, injured quarterback, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
So, Andy, did you win down in Death Valley and beat Clemson in their own house?
I'm just gonna let everybody here know something. I decided that because my birthday was on Friday, it would be a lot of fun. Let's have 40-ish people come to my New York City apartment and watch Andy watch a Syracuse Clemson game. Because there's no way that this game's going to be competitive. I can just hang out with my friends and keep one eye on the game and watch the highlights later because we're going to lose by a lot. I think all my friends are really questioning why they're friends with me ever again. Because at one point I ran inside from the little balcony that we have screaming, "Oh my fucking God, we did it." So,
Yeah.
We did it, Joe. We did it.
We did it, but at what cost?
This is a
Everything.
happy birthday present to not just Andy, but also to Steve, as they got to experience the actual full range of emotions, no crap, of being a football fan.
A Syracuse fan, to be specific.
Oh, if you live under a rock and you don't understand what happened here, Syracuse beat Clemson 34-21. Doesn't really matter what metric you look at. Even Bill C's post-game win expectancy, Syracuse wins this game 60% of the time. They went down they went down to Death Valley and just kicked their butt. It was fully Syracuse was the better team on the day for most of the game. They were the better team for large stretches. As Christian alluded to, there was one injury that I think is the story of the game that needs to be addressed here. But first and foremost, Syracuse is 3-1, which is not something I thought I was going to be saying at this point in time.
No.
So wild.
If anyone thought that, it was going to be a win over Tennessee, not over Clemson at Death Valley.
Right. We thought Tennessee would be the sputtering early season, preseason ranked team.
Which,
It
to be
turns
fair,
out,
almost was. When you have a score in a half game in the fourth quarter with us driving on the 4, Tennessee was almost this game as well. So, for one, what is Fran Brown doing? And for two, what is Fran Brown doing?
well, all the podcast appearances.
Yeah.
What I will say is a shout out to the Steve Dangle podcast, and I'm going to use this line that they said about a different hockey team that's not related to many hockey teams. But I feel like the entire country is going to die of dehydration from eating popcorn, watching Clemson each week, seeing how they're going to lose.
Great reference. And yeah, the Dabo meltdown in real time is definitely long time coming for some of the Syracuse fans who have remember the Scott Schaefer Dabo quote unquote rivalry. This has been a long time coming.
It's a long time coming when Steve and I had synchronized head shakes about that.
I love it. Yeah. And I was trying to explain it. I was actually talking to my mother, who is a very casual Syracuse football flan. She's a Spanish dessert. All right, sweet.
It is sweet.
Basically,
it's also a Filipino dessert, and it's delicious.
Touche. Wow, I love how quickly we derail.
Where have you been the past 5 years? We've done this.
Fair enough. But I was talking to my mother, and she was like, "Oh yeah, well, they won an away game." I'm like, "No." She's much more of a Syracuse basketball fan, and I was like, "Mom, this is the modern equivalent in football of going to Cameron Indoor and coming away with a win. It doesn't happen. Clemson doesn't lose at home, and we just went into their house and came out with a convincing W."
Not just that Clemson doesn't, lose on their own at their own house. Syracuse had never won in Death Valley before. this is the first time in the history of the program that we've won at Clemson. It's obviously huge for Fran and the program. And
It's
I
only
think
the
like the
third
most
time we've beat Clemson, period.
it's absolutely insane. And I think it is like one of these moments where if you zoom out at a micro level or macro level, what I think a lot of people want to do is say like Syracuse is building in the new era of college football the way you're supposed to be, while Clemson is kind of holding on to the way things used to be, and you're seeing what happens. And part of that new way of thinking was, I remember early in the season, one of the like when the ACC road trip went up to Syracuse, Fran said one of the things that he was recruiting for and the way that he was building this team was that he firmly believed you needed to have 4 or 5 running backs. You needed to have 5 or 6 wide receivers. You needed to have 2 quarterbacks in order to compete in this modern era of college football, with just how tough the scheduling is, with how physical the game is, with the reality that injuries are going to happen, and keeping people fresh. And the part of the reason why Syracuse was able to win this game was because of that depth at those 3 positions specifically. And obviously, we'll get the bad news out of the way first. The depth at quarterback came into play a lot earlier this season than we thought it would, as Steve Angeli, confirmed by Pete Thamel today, popped his Achilles. He will not play for the rest of the season. He will apply for a medical red shirt. He will attempt to use his 2 remaining years of eligibility starting next season. We wish him obviously the best of recovery, but like, I don't know about you guys, but everybody who was watching the game at my apartment, as soon as he went down and grabbed the back of his ankle, we all just immediately started groaning, because there's only one injury that you do that for. And
he didn't grab the back of his ankle. He grabbed about halfway down his calf. And as the one of the 3 of us that has done this before, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, well, there goes his Achilles. All right. There's no 2-way. You don't grab, like you said, you don't grab that part of your body for any injury other than this.
Now, I was driving to a commitment that I had to do.
Yep.
And by the time I had left my house or my apartment, I should say, by the time I left my apartment and arrived at the commitment that I was supposed to be at, and looked at my phone to our Slack messages going, oh no, oh no, oh no. I called friend of the show, Mike Ostrowski, and said, what just happened?
Not good. Nothing good happened, Christian. Yeah, and this is a prior commitment that you should have had plenty of clearance to do.
I was fully
by the time the game was over.
I was fully expecting to watch the entire game.
Yeah, because if anyone also didn't see, somehow there was an hour and a half weather delay at halftime on top of the normal halftime. So I guess, to be fair, Fran gets credit also for keeping those kids up for an hour and a half. Because when they came out in the second half, they were still up.
And especially because they were on the field to begin the second half, and then had to leave the field.
Again. Yeah.
It's all kind of strange and chaotic, and there's so many things. And of course, Syracuse gets its biggest win, and it loses its starting quarterback for the remainder of the season here.
We're
aside from the obvious...
We're still Syracuse.
Yeah, exactly.
We can't have
aside from...
The most Syracuse thing is that opening line is Duke by 5.5.
Even though we were ranked higher in SP Plus, and I think SP Plus has us favored in this game, so obviously doesn't take into account massive injuries, which is a known flaw of that system. But still, one of the things, aside from the PTSD, Steve, that you had in that moment watching the Achilles pop, which I'm sure you did, I think the part that obviously was the most worrisome was that Syracuse had, up until that point, obviously been able to move the ball well, but it had been able to move the ball well due to quick throws out of the pocket. Like, I think even during the game, they had the graphic that showed almost all of Syracuse's successful plays, the ball was out of Angeli's hand in under 3 seconds and doing design quick reads. Yeah. Clemson was able to claw a little bit back by using their defensive front, who just started playing up. They stopped entirely just trying to push, and they just started putting their hands up and trying to jump the mesh routes and forcing Syracuse to look to the outside. And it felt like what Angeli was trying to do in that play and what Syracuse was trying to do was start doing some design bootlegs, start design moving the pocket, still keep the ball moving out there quick. And so that's why he was on the run. And when Ricky Collins came in, that part of the game plan didn't work as well. He was better than his first appearance for sure. And that touchdown throw that he had to ice the game was beautiful. So I'm a little bit less worried moving forward, only because it does look like Collins got the yips out in the UConn game and weirdly looked far more comfortable playing in the Clemson game than he did against UConn. And I think that's probably because in one game he knew that he was on a short leash, and in another game he knew this was now his team.
Right. He's got the reins.
And also there was nobody there.
Yeah. Like the dozens of people that were there at the end of that game really were enjoying themselves because most of them were Syracuse fans. I think most of Clemson had left the building at that point. But the one thing with Ricky that we're going to see, Andy, moving forward that we didn't see in UConn or this is Nixon building an offense around him and not him throwing Angeli's offense.
Who's ready to relearn Garrett Schrader, everyone?
Oh, boy. Now, that said, I mean, Ricky isn't, he's not a dual threat. He's much more mobile than Angeli is, but he's not a dual threat QB. He's still a pocket QB. So I think we're going to see a lot more maybe use of the legs and designed use of the legs, but it's not like we're going to be in full-blown, Garrett Schrader or even Dungy mode. Like, we're still going to be running a Nixon offense, which I like.
And what I will say as well for that is that I think, for me personally, and you saw this in the previous offenses, not under Jeff Nixon, is that when you call designed QB runs for a QB that can run, they're very effective. And I feel like that's where I've seen personally Ricky be the most confident and the most productive when he is called for a designed QB run and he's allowed to use his legs and mobility.
Right. Because I guess when I'm saying he's still a pocket passer, he's not a guy who's going to get flushed and then make something happen on his feet from everything that I've heard. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, he might be able to, but that's not his forte of like rolling the dice and going out and gunslinging. Like, he's going to try and stay in the pocket, but he's athletic enough also for, like you're saying, design some runs around him. Design a boot that has an option in it, but he's not going to go and freestyle. I would agree with that as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think we can kind of look back to another thing Fran said when he named Angeli the starter. Obviously, he said it was a very close competition, that, and Collins was right there the entire way. He went with Angeli due to the leadership experience. But the other quote that he said was that, like, look, we just thought Angeli ran the system better, which does make me believe that even though Collins has a different set of strengths than Angeli, they are not going to change the system for the player. The player is going to change for the system, which is obviously, it's a choice. And we're going to see how that plays out over the next, the rest of the season here. But I do think that it is a very different approach from us to see a coaching staff say, we know that as Syracuse, we have to win a certain way. We have to play our offense a certain way. And you are going to learn to play that way here. We are not going to completely throw the baby out with the bathwater just because our number one option got hurt here. And I do think that it is going to be interesting. One of the things that I thought Collins did a little bit better than Angeli was Collins was doing a lot of different types of throws. I think Angeli has a little bit of Ryan Nassib in him where like everything kind of comes out one speed. Yeah. Obviously, Angeli has like a nice deep ball and he was able to throw some nice lofted passes in there. But part of the reason why Clemson did have some success in the late first, early second quarter defending the Syracuse offense was because Angeli was just throwing lasers over the middle and Clemson realized, like, wait a minute, we're bigger than him. We can just stick our hands up there. And they that became part of the scheme here. And Collins on the sideline probably was hearing the same feedback that Angeli was getting and came in and was doing a much better job of different types of arm angles, different types of throws over the middle and to the sides based off of the looks that Clemson was giving him. So I do think that Ricky has some high upside here. And Jelly was the nation's leading passer. Syracuse is not going to be as good as on offense without the nation's leading passer. But I am more confident than I've been in past years that the step down is not going to be to the level that we've seen in the past, where like the offense is now a fundamentally different beast.
We're not into the full-blown Officer Mahoney era.
Oh, I mean, I don't want to know what Fran Brown would do with the Mahoney Pitt game if he was the head coach.
Still, isn't that still the single game record, or did McCord break that last year?
I don't know.
Great question. I think McCord did break it last year, but it is still the highest scoring game record for Syracuse.
God.
Daily
again,
I was at that game, and that was stupid. That was really stupid.
because I have to keep bringing this up. Daily reminder that the opposing quarterback for Pitt that day was Nathan Peterman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it turns out that he was pretty good.
Nathan Great.
It turns out one of those guys was an NFL quarterback.
And Steve wishes he wasn't.
Well, those were games that were played. Yeah, no, but Andy, you kind of brought up a good point that of him playing within the system. I think even within the system, Nixon can call a different game, but not wholesale change things. Like, there are going to be significantly different tendencies that Ricky Collins has that they can take and, exacerbate and like play to those strengths rather than it's not like in the past where we've had systems where we've tried to force QBs into where it's square peg into a round hole. I think Nixon
See Dan Valari 2023.
That would be
yes,
a definitive version of that. But like Nixon is a good enough coordinator, and like the coaching staff is good enough. And when's the last time we said that at Syracuse? In order to like adapt to what they're given, but still not give up the goat for, like Collins is going to come in and play in the system, but also have a game called to his strengths, which I will take all day compared to the significant drop off and the significant inability for other backup quarterbacks we've had to come in and play a quality game. Tommy DeVito notwithstanding.
And it feels like also that because the coaching staff that Fran has hired has NFL experience, it creates a culture, which Fran has wanted to build. It creates a culture of players being more coachable to this specific coaching staff because they want to learn the skills in order to become NFL players.
Yeah.
And because of that, yes, there are things that probably some players can't do, but they're more receptive to learn the things that they want their coaches to do because they know that they'll teach them how to become NFL players, which is something that we heard a lot about from the players last year when they were getting adjusted to their new coaches, especially the wide receivers with Ross Douglas, now Miles White. It feels like because the coaches coach such an attractive style of football and have the results to back it up, that means the players are going to say, hey, yes, I might not be able to do the things they want me to do right now, but I'm going to learn because I know they have my best interests in mind. And maybe for other coaching staffs, it might have been like, hey, this is who we got, and we're trying to crawl to 6 wins. Let's get it there somehow with what they're good at.
Yeah, I think holistically, like you look at a lot of the quotes that came after this game, you look at like what the players said, the culture, and this was kind of the interesting thing, like, made the joke in the intro here. Fran did a lot of publicity this week. I mean, good on him, and good on, gonna give Syracuse the props when necessary here.
Remember, Fran is signed
was
with like an NIL agent.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah,
there's a reason why he's doing this as well.
exactly. And he was out there a lot this week, kind of talking. And again, I think we all have listened to Fran Brown enough now over the last year and a half. A lot of it, he is the master of saying the same thing 15 times, 15 different ways, but it's ultimately a lot of the same thing. But what has been made abundantly clear is that there is a different culture inside of this team in terms of belief of what their abilities can be as a team and belief of what it means to be a Syracuse Orange in this era of NFL. Like we talked about it a few weeks ago. Fran was so mad to lose the Tennessee game, and we're sitting back here going like, look, we played really well against a ranked team in what was essentially a true road game. Fran thought that they could win the game, and now you're sitting here 4 weeks later and you go, that's why Fran's mad, because he has seen what we haven't, which is this is a completely different mindset of a team that steps out on the field. It's going to play on the road against Notre Dame. They're going to play on the road against Miami. They're going to play on the road against SMU. Fran has them thinking that they are the better team, that they are the better coached team, that they're the better prepared team, that they're the more physical team. Obviously, as we saw against Tennessee, sometimes that doesn't happen. But that attitude and that change of culture from the coaching staff to the players to the support staff to the people that are around this program is not something that I thought would happen this quickly. I thought that this was going to take years to kind of develop. And it is readily apparent that Fran has kind of kicked this into hyperspeed. And this win, I don't want to call it a signature win because I think last year's Miami win was definitively like the signature win. But this is yet another proof of concept that Fran has changed the culture here. And the mentality of the guys in that locker room is that there is nobody in the ACC that is definitively better than us. There are teams that might play better than us for 4 quarters, but we, the Syracuse Orange, are one of the best teams in the country. And that to me is a wild thing to hear the head football coach of the Syracuse Orange say with a straight face and fight you if you try to argue him on it.
And that Miami game was a tight game. Syracuse was down 3 scores and then fought their way back, battled to win by 1 score, including a questionable field goal call by Miami at the end. This Clemson game, some could say, is more signature because it was tape to tape domination from Syracuse.
Yeah.
I mean, Andy, you said it as well. Pretty much every metric shows Syracuse winning this game. And which is rare because like most of these like signature Syracuse wins that you have seen in the past are all like, hey, Syracuse shouldn't have won this game, but somehow they did. Yippee-ki-yay. And this is a game where everyone here says, no, Syracuse won. And like, there's no question about it. You play this game 100 times, Syracuse is winning most of them, which is a rare thing that you can say about Syracuse football in the past decade or two.
Now, on the flip side, everybody who was watching it, I guarantee, and if you two tell me you were not at any point thinking this, then I will be very surprised, was sitting there holding their breath thinking, when's the shoe going to drop?
First Clemson touchdown. I'm like, here we go.
Every one of us was like, well, that was good, but I guess Clemson's going to come back and figure it out. And then it's like, oh, wait, no, we're doing good things.
It was after the 54th roughing the passer call where I'm like, oh, okay. Phew.
Yeah, that sounds right.
To be fair, I was definitively waiting for them to blow it the entire time, and everybody who saw me can attest to it.
Oh yeah.
But the other part of it was when they let's actually talk about the game here. We're like a half hour in, and we've talked about some bits of the game, but we haven't actually broke down the game all that much.
There was a game this weekend.
The onside kick.
I have Ricky Brumfield and Fran Brown. I do not. The testicular fortitude to make that call out of your first drive in Death Valley. Holy shit. Like, who does that? It's insane.
Fran Brown, like,
Apparently, Fran Brown and Sean Payton went to the same school of
Yeah.
F it, we ball.
Yep. And when you go in with nothing to lose, what the hell? Like, and they did, and shit, it worked.
This is a special version of Broncos country. Let's ride.
it was just so wild too, because it was just the like, yeah, we on the after Clemson scored that touchdown, once they finally got the ball, you saw Syracuse, their guys on the first line, even though they were in regular kickoff formation, they were all angled in a way to be ready for Clemson to do an onside kick. Almost, and like I was just like, that is. Yes, that is just mental, like that's the different kind of like mental toughness and the different kind of mental game planning that they had clearly put into this, where it was like Clemson was never going to onside kick it, but the fact that you had put it in their head and you were daring them to do something like that is just absolutely wild from Fran and co to even play that game.
Yeah. I totally missed the onside kick. I never saw it until the replay. Because check. Okay, first quarter, second possession, kickoff. I'm like, okay, I'll just check out. Oh, wow.
I cannot prove this, but I had a feeling seconds before it happened, because I saw two guys running from behind the original line as if they were CFL wide receivers, and I'm like, this is not a normal kickoff coverage thing. And then all of a sudden, Jaden L squibs it, and I'm like, oh, I knew it. I again cannot prove that I knew that, but
something just felt different. Like watching it,
it's like the legendary Pat McAfee, Troy Polamalu story of lining up in the C gap.
Yep.
He never does that. He never does that. Oh, he knows.
Yes. So because I've seen Syracuse kick off normally with all 10 guys lined up normally.
Right.
And then two guys are coming from behind the normal line as gunners, and I'm like, what are they doing running up the middle like that? And one of those runners was Greg Delane, the guy who recovered the onside kick.
And that was I said, I only saw it by the replay. And as soon as I saw the replay, I'm like, holy shit, that was a recovery. There's no way they can overturn that. Like, that was a legitimate, you got to 10 yards, settled on the 10.5, grabbed it, and that was that. Like, it was literally a perfect onside kick.
Definitely one that is going to be in film across the country for the next couple of years. It's just a great example of like picture perfect surprise onside kick, Syracuse at Death Valley.
Yep.
Continue to talk about the offense here. Even though he didn't score a touchdown, Justice Ross Simmons had 2 touchdowns. Daryl Gill has 1 touchdown, but the receiver star of the day was Jonte Cook, who had the game. Like, Christian was high on Cook all preseason, and we saw today in a game where it came down to the margins. It came down to winning the one-on-one battles, and Cook was, when everything else was not there, Cook was the easy button for the offense on a lot of the shorter routes and then turn them into longer plays. He's so fast. He is just so fast, and he also has a surprising amount of strength for a small frame, and you see why everybody said, like, this guy is insanely talented.
I need to ask the Syracuse fan base a question. Do you remember
those people?
Yeah, you are indeed 2 of those people. And so I shall ask the Syracuse fan base in general. Do you remember a man named Trevor Pena?
I vaguely. I believe our head coach may or may not have said, all right, you go get that bank, and I've got someone else I can grab. And
he grabbed someone indeed. Because it just feels like it's the same player, maybe even better, because Pena was such a safety valve last year as well.
Yeah.
And it feels like, and the scary thing is, it feels like Cook still isn't 100%.
No, and this was the closest to healthy we've seen him since the opener. Also, 18 yards rushing, because why not?
Sure. Get the ball in the hands of your best playmakers.
Yeah.
It's the Irv Phillips conundrum.
Yeah, so Cook ended up with 6 for 113. Not too shabby. His long was 59, so that does skew it slightly, but like he's easily over. Even without that, he's still over 10 over 10 plus a reception.
But that 59 is in the third quarter after sitting for an hour and a half on a water-clogged field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean,
just absolutely insane.
Yeah, JRS
and then you throw in the Justice Ross. The Simmons grabs were just another one that'll end up on ESPN if it did not already, because
It did.
both of his touchdowns just okay. Yeah.
Him and
I can't believe that this is a regular occurrence with this receiver group.
Him and Gil both mentioned this week.
Well, Gil got mentioned because of obviously winning last week and receiving the gloves from Randy Moss. Cuse had 2 plays. Ross Simmons obviously was the higher ranked one, but right before that one was ranked 3rd by Randy Moss and his "You Got Mossed" week. But the one right before that was Davion Kerr's interception.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we going to just continue playing everybody both sides? Because the way I pointed that, I'll take it all day. Also, Jamie Tremble is good at football.
Fran said that, I think it was either the 3rd or 4th press conference. Fran said that, and I don't remember if this was about him or someone else, but he said, and it might have been about Tremble, but that someone on this team, we were surprised to hear, like, he's got day 1 NFL draft potential.
Yeah.
And I think I could be misquoting, but I think he said that about Tremble.
I mean, there's a couple of guys we could be talking about in that, which I don't think when we opened this season, that was a remote thought in our brain.
Honestly, so I think it was one of 2 guys. It was either him or Byron Washington.
Yeah. Also, did anyone notice the difference having Trevion Mack healthy did this week?
Do not look at Nikhil Bertrand's PFF grade.
I haven't looked at any of them because you know my drill.
You can if you want to get mildly disappointed.
48.
Yee.
No.
No, it's so he played for 9 snaps.
Yep.
The total offensive grade is a 44.9. Andy, he played for 6 pass block stats. What does that grade say?
Oh, please tell me it's at least a 42.
No, it'd be below that. 36.
Oh, it's got to be like a 30. Yeah.
It is a big fat 0.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. I learned something.
Just not even there. He was just spiritually there.
I mean, Trevion Mack also graded below the Mendoza line, but here is why Fran Brown says that when Byron Washington is at his weak goal, this team is better.
Yeah,
62.9 overall grade, 9 pass blocking snaps, 79.4 grade.
That's better than the 0.
Significantly.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah. The other
record.
I think one of the things that I did want to that Steve you kind of hit on. I was having this conversation with another Syracuse friend of mine, and we were talking about how the defense was kind of struggling because it didn't have like a true edge rusher this year. And again, we've been blessed with some amazing edge rushers. I think Tremble is officially just that edge guy now. Like, he is that linebacker who is just, I know he's not listed as like a true edge, but he's playing it and he's playing it well. Yes, Christian.
JB Tremble is everything that Dino Babers wanted Steve Linton to be.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
100%. Wow. Yeah. No, that's...
Which is wild because Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Tremble originally a Dino recruit?
Yes.
He was.
Hmm.
He was a Dino recruit as a tight end.
Okay, yeah.
And apparently he's also a pretty good tight end. However, we found out he's a really good edge rusher.
It's like, remember Justin Barron showed up his freshman season for a cup of coffee, dropped a couple of passes a wide receiver, and then because of injuries moved to safety for the last 2 games of his freshman season, and we were all like, "Oh, hi."
Hold on. We figured this thing out. All right.
You like to hit things.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're good at it. All right. Keep going.
Just one of those amazing flips for Syracuse's defense. And I'm just like, again, I feel like we talked so much about the offense so far in the show, but like the defense shut down Clemson, something that we did not think that they could do. Clemson's wide receivers were having a hard time today, and I think overall, this was the best defense that we've seen under Fran Brown against a real opponent.
Somehow, and I just pulled up PFF, since we're past the offensive line talk, the defensive grade against Clemson was the best defensive grade of the season so far. It's
May
a
I-
76. We played better defense against Clemson than we did against Colgate.
May I just remind everyone, this is what happens when you stop playing zone the majority of the time.
And that's the thing is, if anyone didn't watch it or was like listening to the radio feed like I did for a bit of it, I ended up last night going back and watching the chunks I missed. They literally just belt buckle to belt buckle, man up, we're going at it. Like there was no trickery, there was no nothing. There was, you are guarding this guy, he is not getting the ball, go.
Like the first Clemson touchdown happens because Demetrius Samuel is coming on a corner blitz and Barry Buxton can't quite rotate the guy in time.
Yeah.
But the other big Clemson plays that happen through the air happen because Syracuse plays zone coverage.
Yeah.
And if you watch the entire broadcast, you hear that Louis Riddick talked a lot about how the main concern from Clemson was playing against Syracuse's man coverage. And turns out they were correct.
Guys, I went back and looked at last year's PFF too.
Oh no. Oh no.
This
Oh,
game
boy.
against Clemson, in the entirety of the Fran Brown era, where do you think this ranks as far as defensive performances?
I'll go 2.
2.
2.
Behind only Syracuse versus Holy Cross.
Oh, wonderful.
We had a 90.2. Beyond that, Syracuse against Clemson this week was the highest grade of the Fran Brown era, which is insanity.
The other hidden thing about this defensive performance was, aside from a couple, this was one of the better rush defense I've ever seen for Syracuse. Now, a lot of that was because they ran right up the middle, but it was still one of the best rush defenses I've ever seen from Syracuse. Antoine Delorier had an effing 93.3 rush defense grade.
Yeah. Also, true freshman.
Hey, it turns out that freshman piece that I wrote this week on our Sister
So-
Sections Magician paid off.
Oh God. How did
So like,
Hey, Antoine Delorier, Canadian.
yeah,
all
yes,
your
the
chemical
pipeline is
belong
strong.
to us?
The chaos of all this, sorry, is just, we've been waiting for this to happen. The talent has been here. The scheme with Elijah Robinson, we knew was always going to be there. I feel like this is it has to be a little bit of vindication for him after the first few weeks where everybody was.
No,
We might
he
have
was
lost
doing
Andy
so
because
good.
the point is good. We might have lost Andy because of Riverside things that we are working through. But I mean, to continue his point, this I think a lot of people were down on Elijah Robinson, you know, in the first three games and whatnot,
Yeah,
and it just took a bit of time. It looks like.
that and that's the thing is someone of the quality of Robinson, whether or not he gets it off the bat or we end up having to, work through some things because there's some, for lack of a better term, wonky personnel on this team. As far as trying to figure out what the hell your front seven is doing,
Well,
and it
to go
seems like
along with Andy's prior depth conversation, um, and depth. I didn't say death. I mean depth conversation with a P. It turns out Syracuse also needs 45. Syracuse needs 45 defensive tackles in order to survive the season.
yeah, no, because why would we keep people healthy?
No, not at all.
It won't let me let Pregler back in for the record.
Yeah, I had to do this last week as well. So
Yeah.
we will get Pregler back in soon. But again, health is a paramount factor, which is the main theme of the season.
I mean, who went down? Or
It was
would
Chris
be,
Thomas.
Well, no, but I mean, I guess the question would be more who stayed healthy because Rashard Perry, I think, was the only the only fully untouched tackle.
And had the highest defensive grade.
Yeah, yeah, 80.8 pass rush. I will take that all day. But yeah, it was quite the showing from any and all of the defensive front for holding up against that Clemson offensive line.
Did you ever think you would say that about a
No,
Syracuse defensive line?
nope, no chance in hell.
So, for some reason, there was this recommended video that popped up on my For You page on my YouTube page. And the big run at the end of the you know that big run at the end of the second half that sets up the field goal?
Yeah,
In that play, Anwar Sparrow destroys a guy. And even though the run happens, it's hilarious to see that reactor go, like, I know the big run happened, but we need to focus on this. Did you see this guy destroy that Clemson O-line guy?
and I mean, from Sparrow, this was best performance of the season, and I want to say,
Are you looking best performance of career?
Yeah, outside of 2022, that was his best performance since then, I believe.
Remember when Anwar Sparrow was in the transfer portal for a hot minute?
Yeah,
Forgot about that.
hindsight, that didn't happen, and I'm not going to complain.
Absolutely not.
What do we think, just in general, of the idea that is this the turn the corner game for the defense? Like, is this the moment or is Clemson's offense maybe terrible? I know it's probably little column A, little column B,
I was gonna
but
say, it's definitively a things can be two things. When your starting quarterback goes on national media and
God.
says the other team is faking injuries, your offense might have a problem. But
I forgot that happened.
yeah,
That being said, remember who's on the other side. It's not like these are guys who, for lack of a better term, played at Union College.
yeah.
These are guys who are been highly recruited and highly rated to play at Clemson. Yes, do ratings miss all the time? Yes. But they
Right,
can't
but
miss
does
that
the
badly.
entire team miss because that team of 4 and 5 stars got completely shithoused by a team of 3 and a couple of 4 stars.
So it cannot be all just the personnel.
Right.
And so, yes, it's in a mixture of good Syracuse coaching, maybe bad Clemson coaching, yes. But it cannot be all these Clemson players are bad.
Right.
Absolutely not. It cannot be that.
I just look at this. I just look at this game, and I'm just so impressed. Even when like Clemson's offense is clearly having a moment. But like you were saying with like the Anwar Sparrow play, Fran has been on them for the last how many weeks about needing to be more physical and needing to be more violent on defense. They brought it for this game, and I think that is a huge move, a huge win for us moving forward because that was clearly lacking in other games. And now the key is going to be, can you bring it against Duke? Can you bring it against Pitt? Can you bring it against BC? Can you make this consistent instead of making it a blip that appears?
Consistency is occasional. What is it? The Dino quote.
Occasionally good, not consistently great, or something.
No, the other way around. It's like
Yeah,
occasionally great, consistently good.
yeah,
It all comes around.
yep. It's amazing
It's
how many
all-
things that Dino said that Fran is doing.
Things can be two things.
Absolutely.
Is the cake finished?
The hay is never in the barn, Christian.
Yeah. How can we forget? Oh man. So speaking of what's coming up next, with our last few minutes here, Syracuse does play Duke this week. As mentioned, we kind of mentioned it earlier. Duke is a 5.5 point favorite here. I think Vegas is looking at the backup quarterback. Game is at the Dome. I believe it's a noon kickoff on Saturday.
Oh, it's
The Duke is under Manny Diaz has been a much better team than they've been previously. They do have a loss to Tulane on their record, a very good Tulane team that might be the G5 playoff team. So again, just
Isn't Illinois was Illinois the one that blew out or got blown out by Indiana?
Illinois
got blown out by.
Okay, never mind. So that loss to Illinois doesn't look as good then.
No. But they're a good team. But yeah, definitely the transitive property. Our Tennessee loss looks a lot better than their Illinois loss here. I think that we all said before the season, and I think we all still agree here, this is a must-win game if you want to go to the postseason, even with the Clemson win. So it's still a pretty massive game. But now it's kind of weird to see. I think that correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the feeling is that this is now a should win instead of a would be nice to win game. And I don't know how I feel about that attitude shift. Even though I do think Syracuse is better than Duke. SP Plus thinks Syracuse is better than Duke. A lot of things think Syracuse is better than Duke.
I think for all intents and purposes, until they lose again, every game's a must-win game. Because we'll know how we feel based on the next loss to a worthy opponent. Because, again, there's nothing but worthy opponents left on the schedule. So, like, I don't think we'll know truly until we get there. The key to know about Duke, and I saw Chris Carlson tweet this about Duke as well. This is a Duke team that is really good at passing the ball, especially with Arian Mensah. I mean, you'll look at the passing grades in their wins. It's a 94 against Elon and an 88.5 against NC State. It's pretty good. The bad thing about Duke, they cannot cover the pass. So, Ricky Collins, here is your opportunity.
On the bright side of that, this week against Clemson, the only defender below the Mendoza line in pass coverage was a defensive lineman.
Oh, no, whatever shall we do?
David
Crucify the man.
So, oh no, sorry, Gary Bryant Jr. also was. Okay. Our middle linebacker and our pass rushing and our worst pass cover guys. Okay, cool. That makes sense.
Don't look at Barry Buxton. But that's
Oh, he was hidden by a bar. Sorry.
yeah, but maybe part
behind the curtain.
again, maybe part of that is because hey, we decided to have Demetrius Samuel go on a corner blitz and say good luck to you.
Yeah, I think that play might
Yeah.
be a good part of that grade because I
do not
like
I do
said
not
in the
envy
chat,
his
though.
job in that position.
No. Like I said in that chat, though, like that was a very successful corner blitz. However, the the second part of that is also you need to stop the pass. He didn't do that. Either way, still a hell of a showing by the defense.
It's good to have Devin Grant back.
Which, after that Tennessee game, I don't know if I would have said initially just how he looked. He everything felt a little bit off. And it seems like everything that was off is now on because he was everywhere.
And this is what I also said about Cornell Perry, who had a pretty good game himself. Because in the games that Cornell Perry took over for Grant at his position, at the star position,
Yep.
he was everywhere as well.
Yeah.
So much so that they kept Perry in the starting lineup when Grant came back in.
Right.
Because he was everywhere.
There's just so much of this defense that is, look, we might not be All Americans, we might not even be first team All ACC, but we're really good at being physical. We're really good at covering space. We're really good at closing things out. I feel like I keep saying this, but like the floor has just been raised so much, like that it really does help, even though you might not have that like star player that can disrupt things by themselves. When you have 11 guys that all can do their job at a very competent and consistent level, it does allow for games like this where the other team just has to make a play. And as we saw, Clemson was just not up for that task on a consistent level, and they have not been for a couple of weeks here, which is why, like, the craziest part to me about this game was not, oh my gosh, what an amazing upset for Syracuse. It was, wow, Fran Brown, Syracuse, they're going to be a tough team to beat in the ACC this year. Also, they just kicked the crap out of Clemson. What's wrong with Clemson? Which, nobody was treating this like a fluke game. People were treating this as Clemson, you just got outplayed on both sides of the ball at home by Syracuse. Like, you have not fallen below Syracuse in the pecking order, which again, this is important. In this season, we are playing a lot of orange teams, a lot of teams that like to use orange as a primary color here. We have taken orange back from Clemson. Next, we've still got Miami on the schedule here, who likes to wear orange uniforms at home. So we have to retake the orange from Miami. We obviously played Tennessee. We had this Clemson game. This is just the season where, look, we took Virginia Tech last year. It's ACC teams. Stop using orange.
I guess do we take it to the end of the game for speculation and things to read into? Because I don't know if you guys saw after the whistle was blown.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about.
All of Clemson's top players came over and personally shook hands with Fran Brown.
Right before his interview with Chris Budden.
Yeah. It was mildly, it was like, what was it? It was Peter Woods,
the number 3, and Terrell.
the cornerback. Yeah, Terrell
And number 3, TJ something.
TJ Parker.
TJ Parker, yes.
Yep.
Peter Woods and TJ Parker projected top 3 picks in the NFL draft this year.
Like, just came over and personally shook hands with Fran. It's like
not top 3, top 10. Projected top 10 picks, both of them, in the NFL draft this year.
I think part of it is also Fran probably recruited them at some point in time, or at least tried to recruit them at some point in time. So I'm assuming that there's some, but
former friend at our Noons Magician site, Carson Fowler, interviewed a Georgia DB who gave his love to Fran Brown this week.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I think we're seeing it. We're seeing it. Like, look, Fran he's out there. He's in the media. He's doing these media appearances. The thing that's coalescing around him is that he is genuine. He's demanding, but he's honest, and he's now winning games. Like, this is the kind of stuff that we should probably talk about this real quick here with the new transfer portal rules coming in.
That was good, yeah.
it's gonna be a lot. This is part of the game that you have to play now. And so again, for those that don't know, NCAA did approve a single transfer window. So obviously Syracuse used the double transfer window this year to go out and get Steve Angeli after a not so great spring by Ricky Collins. They've used the spring window in the past to go and bolster their roster. After you basically look at your spring games and go, we don't really like that guy, or this position's weak, we need to go add. There's going to be a single window. Now, right now, it is unclear when that window is going to be and for how long, because if you don't know right now, the primary window is basically winter break, which for those of you keeping score at home is typically during the NCAA or during the college football playoff. So playoff teams and players on playoff teams will be drastically impacted by the portal if there is only one portal window per season. My assumption is that there's going to be some adjustment to the portal window, but it obviously works around class schedules as well. Like, there's only so much you can do. Like for Syracuse, that obviously starts back up mid-January, to have a kid wait until February to come on board. A lot of speculation that we can do right now, but from a Syracuse perspective, where I think this is interesting, Fran has been a portal master so far, and this is going to be an absolutely insane offseason for Fran, assuming Syracuse doesn't go and win the whole ACC this year and end up in the playoff. But right now, it does look like Syracuse and a whole lot of other teams that have relied on the portal so far are going to have to change their strategy in terms of evaluations and who they go after, based off of having one window in the middle of the school year instead of two windows, one at the beginning and one at the end.
It's going to be interesting to see how they adjust, because again, not only do you get Angeli from that spring transfer window last year, you also get TJ Ferguson and Austin Collins, who are two of your starting offensive linemen. Fran was so good at using all available options to the nth degree, but this might not be a bad thing either, because Fran has openly tried to build his team more through his freshman class and his upcoming classes.
Yeah.
So if that gives him an
I
opportunity,
gave you that idea with the 5-star that he just recruited.
Oh no! Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hey, it's Justice Ross Simmons and Jonte Cook maybe potentially thinking about leaving next year. Don't worry.
We should probably backfill that. Oh, we already did. Okay,
Oh, well,
cool.
wonderful! It's amazing how things work out like
When
that.
have we ever said that before?
Never about a Syracuse program. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. It's going to be, one proposal that I saw from Roger Sherman over on Blue Sky. He's a culture football writer and a pretty intelligent guy when it comes to this stuff. He said that maybe they keep the window the same, they just extend it a bit, and essentially the rule is like, look, if you make the playoff, this is our attempt at parity here. Like, not if you're a good school that's in the playoff, you probably need the portal a little bit less than everybody else.
Yeah.
And
Really?
too bad that you guys have to play. That's the penalty for being good, is that it's we don't have a draft in college, but it's like the closest thing that you can get to forced parity via draft, where the best teams don't have as much time dedicated to player acquisition as everybody else does.
See, the
But
only
again,
downside
we'll just have to
of
see how
that-
it plays out.
And normally I agree with Sherman on a lot of things. The only downside to that is players entering the portal from those schools. Because inherently,
Right.
until you hit the end of your season, you normally are not going to declare for the portal. If that's the case,
Yeah.
then what is it, a mad scramble for that last week of the portal?
Right, which is where I think you have to figure out some way to either extend it around the playoff, or you need to do something in the realm of going to the playoff committee and saying you need to have all games but the national championship completed by this date, so that
Right.
there is a 3-week window before classes. Again, this is something that probably is worth looking into from Syracuse's perspective. But whenever the late addition to the semester is,
Yeah.
that's the date that Syracuse will effectively be working with in order to get guys added. And we'll probably honestly talk to Kevin about this sometime. This is Kevin's world that he's far more knowledgeable about than the three of us. So it'll be interesting. Once all that gets sorted, we'll have to bring Kevin on the pod and be like, dude, explain this to us like we're 5.
Here's what I'll say. Were there roster limits put in place for football based on in-the-house decision? Do we remember that?
I don't.
Still unclear. Fran has been acting as if the new limits are going to be in effect. Like there were new recommended guidelines in the house, but NCAA has not made it clear because, of course, they haven't. If those roster rules are in effect,
so let's assume that there are bigger roster advantages for all programs. Remember, the transfer portal deadline only prevents players from entering the transfer portal. It doesn't prevent players from committing to a team once the portal period ends. That deadline is only for players to submit their name into the portal. Players can commit outside of the transfer portal window provided that they're already in the portal. It's not like the soccer or English deadline day where a deal must be completed by 6 p.m. on January 31st, or else you cannot add that player to your team. The deadline is only for the player to enter the portal and announce his intention to transfer. So there is no fax machine to Real Madrid situation. Hi, Steve.
Yeah.
good. Honest, great call out there, and very also something that we might see change with these new transfer portal rule. Like again, it's the NCAA. We have no idea what's happening until it's happened.
Oh, we're in
You
the
don't
straight
know
news
what's
line
happening until it happens.
I guess. Do we want to close this out with some orange in the NFL?
Yes.
I don't know if people realize.
Yeah, we probably should do that.
People realize today that Schmidt happened.
Oh, Schmidt did indeed happen.
And 2 weeks ago, Schmidt happened, but in the very different sense.
The Schmidt didn't happen 2 weeks ago, and let's put it that way.
So for anyone who didn't see Andre Schmidt 2 weeks ago, missed to effectively have the Browns lose to the Bengals. Either of those field goals would have put them ahead. However, this week, somehow he's still with the Browns, and rightfully so, in the sense that, and I say that just because kickers in the NFL seem to be a very fickle job. He nailed a 55-yarder to have the Browns beat the Packers 13-10 this week as time expired. So, I think he's doing okay.
Very much so.
I'm very happy for him because he is a good kicker. He had some up and downs at Syracuse, but he is a very, very, very good kicker. And I think that the Cleveland would be silly to get rid of him after a bad first ever rookie game. Give him a minute to settle in, and he has, and he won the game for them. And the redemption arc is very heartwarming.
No, it is. The sounds of New York City serenade us out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you tell that New York is really popping off right now? The weather, it's too nice. The weather is too nice here in the fall, and people are getting excited. But so thank you for everybody who listened.
It's incredible.
I need to go I need to go cool off is the moral of the story, which I did not think I'd be saying on
Which
Steve's
means Andy's coming to
birthday
Syracuse.
in 2025.
Yes, we sandwiched.
Not quite, but happy birthday.
Sandwiched the two of our birthdays with a wonderful Syracuse win against Clemson.
It is the only way that we could do it, and the only way that we knew how to do it for a show like this. Thank you, everybody who listened into this week's edition of Disloyal Idiots of Syracuse podcast. We do this every Sunday night-ish at 8 p.m.-ish on Twitch. If you want to follow along, watch us live, watch our silly reactions, watch me struggle with my ever old technology that really needs to be upgraded at some point in time. Thank you to everybody who likes and subscribes to the podcast here. It really helps us continue to like and subscribe, grow the podcast for us. helps us trick the AI into expanding the Ottoman Empire. Thank you again to our sister site, nunesmagician.com. You can continue to read some of our work over there. We'll continue to be contributing over there as we can. The support is always greatly appreciated. Thank you to Fran Brown for giving us something to celebrate this week. Again, next game Saturday, September 27th against Duke, and hopefully we can do this all again next Sunday night and talk about a 4-1 Syracuse Orange team. What the heck is happening in this universe? Go Orange.
Go Orange.
You've never been more excited for a nooner in your life. Go Orange.